Hello, everybody. It is me, Democrat Eater, here with another video. Well, not another video. It's a podcast. Actually, let's go back onto me. Hello, everybody. It's first episode of the Republican podcast. Welcome. Thank you to anybody who's watching this after the fact or watching it current. It's gonna be a short episode, probably about like 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Just gonna be talking about the whole Fauci situation and goofing around with everything. So it's always good. So first off, Dr. Fauci's emails, Dr. Tony Fauci's emails. Shut up. There's a motorcycle outside my window. Anyways, Dr. Fauci's emails got leaked, right? Right. And it really raises some upcoming questions about the origin of COVID, and it really looks like it came from the lab. You know who said that? Former president of the CDC and Donald Trump. But no, nobody believed them. So, basically, another thing we're going to be talking about is Trump being banned for 2 years. How are you going to go around and call this president a fascist for 4 years? Calling this guy a fascist for 4 years, you want to ban him from the internet for, I think it was like 3 years? Kind of hypocritical, man. Very, very, very hypocritical. Anyways. Alright. So basically, Dr. Fauci needs to be fired. He has always gone back on what he said, but yet he is supposed to be the top doctor. This isn't science evolving. He's saying this. Masks work is the one and final answer. You should always wear masks. Always wear masks. And he switches sides. Just recently said, "Oh, you don't gotta wear a mask. You don't gotta wear a mask, man." Now he just got outed for hiding the source of COVID-19 and talking to China. They made a deal that Fauci would dismiss the lab conspiracy theory. And now his emails got leaked, and it's clear it just may be from a lab. The Chinese government went around looking for the worst virus they could find, and I don't remember what the cave is, but it's a cave where like kids, like teenagers, would die just from breathing the aroma from the bats, and they die. And it looks like that's where China got that virus, because the evolution of the virus does not look natural, even though Dr. Fauci said it looks natural. By the way, this is the same lab that Obama and him helped fund. He also got outed with his emails, blatantly saying masks do not work, and that the virus matter is too small to be stopped by a mask. That the most it could do was stop spit droplets, right? So another thing he lied about. He's lying to the American people. Same thing that happened with the AIDS epidemic, and him gatekeeping the vaccine, so more people can get affected, and the value of his vaccine would go up, so he'd get more money. So it's just a big ordeal right now. What Fauci's doing, it's not the greatest. But you got a video right here. It's like 3 minutes long, talking about the whole ordeal. So senators are actually trying to get him fired, so that's always good. So let's check this out real quick. Sorry, I did not mean to switch sides yet. But yeah, let's check this out.
The American public this morning getting a rare look into how its highest level leaders operated in the pandemic's early days. And now the focus on Dr. Anthony Fauci's view on where the virus started. That's after several news organizations obtained thousands of pages of Fauci.
Just look at how short he is right here. Like, Dr. Fauci is tiny. And you know, I promise you, Trump, whenever he were asked, like, what lens are you using? What lens are you using? Come on, tell me what lens you're using. oh, 12-inch wider. Like, he wanted to make sure that that his height and Dr. Fauci's were compared. Don't give him a step stool. You want to give him a step stool? I think not. I can just see Trump doing that. Dr. Fauci is a very tiny man. Anyways,
thousands of pages of Fauci's emails under the Freedom of Information Act from the first months of 2020, including one sent by Dr. Francis Collins, the head of the NIH. Its subject line, conspiracy gains momentum, linking to a story on a Fox News report suggesting COVID-19 leaked from a lab in Wuhan. Fauci's response? Blacked out. Many dismissed the idea of a lab leak in 2020, but it's now gaining momentum after a U.S. intelligence report that 3 researchers at that lab got sick weeks before China confirmed its first case.
Yeah, see, even the former president of the CDC even came out and said that he believes the virus came from a lab. It's a big deal.
The emails also show the founder of an institute, EcoHealth Alliance, with ties to the lab, thanking Fauci for supporting the theory that COVID naturally developed. Some NIH
yeah, see, like, there was private emails out leaked where, like, Chinese scientists were praising him for dismissing it.
Funds aimed at collecting samples went to the Wuhan lab via EcoHealth. The Wall Street Journal, writing in an editorial this morning, it's reasonable to ask why Dr. Fauci was slow to accept the possibility of a lab leak.
Did you agree at that time in April of 2020 that the lab leak theory was a conspiracy theory?
No, not necessarily at all. The situation is that we didn't know, and we still don't know, what the origin is.
Fauci, the nation's top infectious diseases doctor, now under fire from conservatives who suggest he didn't do enough to investigate where the virus
Yeah, just like this right here. We're about to watch the Tucker Carlson one because the Tucker Carlson one was absolutely hilarious.
Conservatives who suggest he didn't do enough to investigate where the virus originated.
We need to get to the bottom of this. Dr. Fauci needs to be brought in under oath to answer questions about this.
But Fauci points out the NIH is not responsible for such an investigation. During the pandemic, remember, Fauci faced fire from some of the former president's supporters because Fauci backed pandemic precaution. And to give you a sense of what else these emails show, when a Chinese scientist wrote to Fauci to check in on him, quote, being attacked, the doctor responded, all is well, despite some crazy people in this world. Craig?
Our senior Washington correspondent, Hallie Jackson, there for us. Hallie, thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel.
That scared me. Anyways. What do you got? So, he was completely outed, and now, wow, that's actually kind of crazy. This guy is supposed to be our top scientist, and he does this. Oh my gosh. That's sad. It's actually sad. Let's go ahead and watch this Tucker Carlson one. I thought the Tucker Carlson one was like actually hilarious.
Always obvious. In March of last year, we interviewed Fauci on this show. We treated him with respect. We took his answers seriously. We're Americans, so we assumed the man in charge of protecting the U.S. from COVID must be rational and impressive.
Like, Tucker is just, he's just so casually funny.
Also assumed he must be honest, but we were wrong.
We were wrong.
Soon became clear that Tony Fauci was just another sleazy federal bureaucrat, deeply political and often dishonest. More shocking than that, we then learned that Fauci himself was implicated in the very pandemic he'd been charged with fighting. Fauci supported the grotesque and dangerous experiments that appeared to have made COVID possible. We came to these conclusions incrementally, spurred by evidence that accumulated over the course of a year. Tonight, we have the mother lode. Thanks to a Freedom of Information request from BuzzFeed, we have thousands of emails to and from Anthony Fauci. They go back to the early winter of 2020. Collectively, they show that from the beginning, Tony Fauci was worried that the public might conclude COVID had originated at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Now, why would Tony Fauci be concerned that Americans would conclude that? Possibly because Tony Fauci knew perfectly well that he had funded gain-of-function experiments at that very same laboratory. The emails prove that Fauci lied about this under oath. Consider this exchange, which began the evening of January 31st, 20.
Yeah, I forgot to bring that up. Yeah, he completely lied. Like, openly lied. And and he still wants to think that people attacking him is just crazy people in the world. Dude's retarded.
20. It was a Friday just before midnight. The first email came from an immunologist called Christian Anderson, who works at the Scripps Research Institute in La Jolla, California. Anderson warned Fauci that COVID appeared to have been possibly manipulated in a laboratory. Quote, the unusual features of the virus make up a really small part of the genome, less than 0.1%. So one has to look really closely at all the sequences to see that some of the features potentially look engineered. The next day, on February 1st, Tony Fauci wrote back, thanks, Christian. Talk soon on the call. Fauci then sent an urgent email to his deputy, a man called Hugh Auchincloss. The subject of that email, in all caps, was important. Quote, Hugh, it is essential that we speak this AM. Keep your cell phone on. Read this paper as well as the email that I will forward. You will have tasks today that must be done. Attached to that email was a document. It was entitled, quote, Barrick, Shi et al., Nature Medicine, SARS Gain of Function .pdf. Now, the Barrick in the attachment referred to Ralph Barrick, a virologist based in the U.S. who collaborated with the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Barrick worked with a woman called Dr. Shi Shengli, known as the Bat Lady because she manipulates coronaviruses that infect bats. She was the she in the attachment. Now, keep in mind that during the questioning from Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky fairly recently, Tony Fauci denied that this same Ralph Barrick had conducted gain-of-function research. Again, this is the Ralph Barrick in Fauci's attachment, which was entitled Barrick, Shi et al., SARS Gain-of-Function .pdf. And yet...
Tucker is just... got another, 7 minutes of this. He's ripping, and I mean ripping, Fauci apart.
Under oath before the United States Congress, Fauci denied this.
Dr. Barrett does not doing gain-of-function research, and if it is, it's according to the guidelines, and it is being conducted in North Carolina. And if you look at the grant, and you look at the progress reports, it is not gain-of-function, despite the fact that people tweet that.
Oh, it wasn't just on Twitter. It was in Fauci's own emails.
I love it. He just said that so casually.
In retrospect, that looks a lot like perjury. We do know that starting early last year, a lot of people at NIH were worried that COVID had not occurred naturally. They were concerned it had been instead manipulated in a lab in China. And yet they seemed determined to hide those facts from the public. Again, why? On the afternoon of February 1st last year, Fauci held a conference call with several top virologists. Most of the details of that call remained hidden from public view. They've been redacted. We know the call was related to a document entitled Coronavirus Sequence Comparison. Jeremy Farrar, a British physician who runs a major research nonprofit, reminded everyone on the call that what they said was top secret. Quote, information and discussion is shared in total confidence and not to be shared until agreement on next steps, end quote. In other emails, Jeremy Farrar passed along an article from the website Zero Hedge. That piece suggested the coronavirus might have been created as a bioweapon. We now know that is a more plausible explanation than the one we believed at first and were told by the media, which is that corona came from a pangolin. And yet, for the crime of saying that out loud, a more plausible explanation, Zero Hedge was banned from social media platforms. Until recently, you were not allowed to suggest that COVID might be man-made. Why couldn't you suggest that? The fact checkers wouldn't allow it. Why wouldn't they? Because Tony Fauci assured the tech monopolies that the coronavirus could not have been man-made. And so the tech monopolies shut down the topic. Watch Fauci lie.
A group of highly qualified.
I love that. It just shows how tiny he is.
Evolutionary virologists looked at the sequences there and the sequences in bats as they evolve, and the mutations that it took to get to the point where it is now is totally consistent with a jump of a species from an animal to a human.
That was April 17th, 2020, very shortly into the course of this pandemic. At that point, what Tony Fauci just asserted as known could not conclusively have been known. That was a lie. Tony Fauci suggested that he knew because top researchers had decided conclusively that this must have jumped naturally from an animal to a human being. But again, at that point, he could not have known that. That was dishonest. 2 days after he said that, one of the virologists that Tony Fauci had funded to conduct dangerous coronavirus experiments in Wuhan wrote to thank him for the help. That man, a man called Peter Daszak, complained to Fauci that the American tax dollars he'd taken for these experiments were being, quote, publicly targeted by Fox News reporters. Yet Daszak remained grateful for Tony Fauci's support. Quote, I just wanted to say a personal thank you on behalf of our staff and collaborators, end quote. Now, strangely, most of this specific email from Daszak to Fauci has been redacted, and it was redacted under FOIA Section B7A. That specific exemption to the FOIA law applies to, quote, records or information compiled for law enforcement purposes, but only to the extent that production of those documents could reasonably be expected to interfere with enforcement proceedings. Are Peter Daszak and Tony Fauci under criminal investigation? We can only hope they are. They certainly deserve it. At this point, we can't say for sure. We do know that Fauci hasn't simply lied about the origins of COVID, pretending to know things he could not know. He has also lied about vaccines in key ways. In March of last year, former Obama official Zeke Emanuel wrote to Fauci to ask a very simple question, one that we've asked countless times. Are people who have recovered from COVID generally immune from getting infected with COVID once again? That applies to about 100 million Americans, so it's not a small question. Fauci's response, quote, no evidence in this regard, but you would assume that there would be substantial immunity post-infection. Well, yes, you would assume that. We always have. And in fact, studies now show it is true. People who have had COVID and recovered almost never get sick again from COVID, so they don't need to be vaccinated. Yet to this day, Tony Fauci has never admitted that in public. In his email to Zeke Emanuel, he admitted something else that's also now obvious. Surgical masks, the paper kind all of us wear, don't really work. They offer very little protection from COVID. In fact, at least one study shows they may accelerate transmission of viruses. They are, in short, a form of make-believe. Yet once again, while under oath in public, Tony Fauci claimed precisely the opposite.
You're telling everybody to wear a mask, whether they've had an infection or a vaccine. What I'm saying is they have immunity, and everybody agrees they have immunity. What studies do you have that people that have had the vaccine or have had the infection are spreading the infection? If we're not spreading the infection, isn't it just theater?
No, it's
not.
not.
The vaccine and you're wearing 2 masks. Isn't that theater?
No, that's not. Here we go again with the theater. Let me just state for the record that masks are not theater. Masks are protective. And we
have immunity there, theater. If you already have immunity, you're wearing a mask to give comfort to others. You're not wearing a mask because of any science.
I totally disagree with you.
Rand Paul is a physician. He's smart. What he just said was true, and the science shows that it's true. There's not much debate about it, actually, among honest people. But Tony Fauci claimed it wasn't true. He lied. Why would he do that? Well, here's one reason. The emails show that Tony Fauci speaks regularly to Bill Gates. That's odd. Bill Gates is not a doctor. Bill Gates is not a scientist. Bill Gates is a very rich man who made billions making mediocre software for office computers. So why would Tony Fauci be in such regular contact with Bill Gates? The term Bill Gates comes up more than 24 times when you search the Fauci emails. Has Bill Gates profited in any way from Tony Fauci's COVID guidance? That would definitely be worth knowing immediately. And yet we don't know. Our media don't seem interested in finding out. In fact, here's how CNN covered thousands of emails from and to Dr. Fauci revealed the weight that came with his role as a rare source of frank honesty within the Trump administration's COVID-19 task force. Can you imagine a more dishonest characterization of anything
Patreon Saint of Wuhan
than that? It's hard to. By the way, it wasn't just CNN. No reporters asked about these emails at today's White House press briefing. Not one question. But you shouldn't be surprised. Of course they didn't ask. Tony Fauci is too big to question at this point. Quote, "Oh my God," one Biden voter wrote to Tony Fauci back in March. "Is there anything I can do for you besides being grateful?" "Wash my feet with your tears," Fauci may have responded. We can't say that he did respond that way for certain. We don't have his reply. We do know that in affluent neighborhoods throughout Northwest Washington, D.C., you can still see signs that say, "Thank you, Dr. Fauci." What does that tell you? It tells you that Tony Fauci is no longer a scientist, assuming he ever was one. Tony Fauci is a figure of religious veneration. He is Jesus for people who don't believe in God.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube.
Yeah, but that's basically the video. Like, you saw Tucker Carlson explained it the best. Fauci is under fire right now, and hopefully things will get done. But I'm going to be taking a short break, so I'll be right back, and see you guys in like 5 minutes. Alrighty guys, I'm back, and gonna be having a special guest on for today. Name's Maddie, one of my friends. I'm gonna be calling her right now. That's what I was doing during the stream break. I was texting her, and we're gonna set things up. Here we go. Hey.
Hello.
Hello. Let me just check your audio real quick in the stream, make sure everything's going good.
Alrighty. Hello.
Alright, you sound good. Cool.
Okay,
so, basically, you've never heard of the name Dr. Fauci?
Never.
Alright, so no, I'm gonna send you a picture of Dr. Fauci. You have to know who he is.
What is it, like a politician or something?
He is the top scientist in America.
Then I probably know who he is.
He's the top doctor for infectious diseases.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you one in Discord. Hold on. Just get a pic. I'm just gonna.
All right.
What? Alright, here.
I said already. What's on your background?
My background? What do you mean?
Yeah, it's like a really loud static sound.
That might just be you, because there's not a static sound in my stream. Let me make sure there's not a static sound.
It's like really loud. I can hear it with and without my earbuds in.
There's not one on the stream.
Sounds like an air conditioner or something.
My air conditioner's not on, but nothing's being picked up on the stream, so it might just be you.
Trust me.
Alright, so Dr. Fauci, let me get this picture. Save images. Alright, here we go. I can't. Oh, I forgot. I can't really send pictures because. Can I? Oh no! Wait.
Maybe.
All right, here we go. You ever seen this guy?
Maybe.
Right.
Maybe once or twice.
So basically, he is the top doctor for America when it comes to infectious diseases.
He looks retarded.
He's also like 5 foot
No
tall
offense.
too. He's also like 5 foot tall too. Here, I'm gonna send you a picture of him compared to Trump.
And be like a little ant.
I'm gonna send you a picture of him next to Trump. Find a good one. There we go. No. Alright, here we go. Save image as. Alright. This is him side by side with. What are you sending me? This is him side by side with Trump.
How tall is Trump?
Trump is 6'2". No, he's 6'3". He's the second tallest president.
Let me guess. Abraham Lincoln was the first?
Abe was 6'4".
6'4". Okay.
Now that's him side by side with Fauci. Let me see Fauci.
Side by side with who?
Fauci. The doctor's name is Fauci.
Okay.
Dr. Tony Fauci.
Danny DeVito.
It says his height. Actually, doesn't say his height. You said he's 5'7". There's no way he's only 5'7".
Wait. Be right back.
Alright.
I'm gonna go on mute for.
You're gonna go what?
I will be right back, but I'll still be listening.
What are you doing? Alrighty. Well, there's not much to really talk about anymore anyway, so. Alright, well, that did not go as planned. Well, she knows nothing but Dr. Fauci, so I guess this is where the stream's gonna end. Thanks you for everyone who watched. Thank you for everybody who's watching after the fact of this being over. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.